DNF Duel. This game came out only a few months ago in July, and I never got to sink my teeth into it the way that I wanted to. What does that have to do with this video? Well, I decided to enter a DNF Duel tournament in less than a week. Having not played the game in months and having little to no experience playing any fighting game for the past couple of months, I decided to play a game I had limited time in for my first competitive solo tournament in fighting games. This is going to be interesting, and I thought I'd share the journey with you. So let's get started. So what is the entire plan here? The method I've used that has given me the most mileage the past, just an hour, once, twice, 3 times a week. Just put a little bit of time in. It's to warm up. Your warm-up is going to be whatever your ideas, your concepts, whatever you feel like you need to do for the day. In this case, before I filmed the matches you're going to see that I played today, I was installing DNF Duel back on my laptop, and so I just went through my character's challenge combos, just so I could remember some of the buttons and get my hands a little bit more warmed up. And as you go day by day, it becomes a little bit easier and more crystallized what exactly the plan for this is, okay? So number 2, play. I always, for myself, limit to about 5 sets or an hour. You don't need to do more than that. You don't have to sit in training mode for 10 hours. And I do mean playing matches online for an hour. 5 sets in some cases is less than that. 5 if you win, 5 if you lose. If you have problems getting matches, it's all good. The hour can be that. From there, review the matches, look at it, pull something from that. And that, for me, builds into what I'll practice for my next session. No, you don't have to do long times. If you want to get on and do 10 minutes and practice afterwards, you can. I like to do it as a refresher before I get back in to warm up on whatever my last ideas are. Just having a little notepad where you can write down whatever's going on. In this case, these were game times because we were doing a video, very clearly. But write down what you thought you did good and you did bad, and then work on that. And this gives you a game plan, and it will also, I think, help keep you focused on what you're trying to accomplish and not spiral out of control, because the hole is deep, and I think it's easy to get overwhelmed. And if you enjoy the video and this concept at all, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications for whenever daily uploads do go up here on the channel, and comment down below whatever your method is for practice, or if you have any tips that you would want to share or any questions you want to answer. All right, let's get right into these matches. All right, so we finished the first step, which was playing the matches. Let's go ahead and review some matches, and I want to go over my process for reviewing it. This is a lot more complicated because I'm recording it, but generally, save your matches, go back and watch them, take notes in some way, shape, or form, or just make a note. You know, you want to be paying attention to what's happening. You might see something that you didn't notice during the match, or you might realize something or an option to try, or just what they were doing. Either what you're doing, what your opponent's doing. You want to pay attention to kind of the both and figure out where you're going to from there. I have a little list of timestamps, and I wanted to show this off just because you can see this is a 28-minute file. This took me about an hour. This was about an hour recording. I believe the whole session here was like 55 minutes. But just so that you can see, you might not be able to catch this. The first 5 minutes or so of the game is going to be against this grappler player, which are 2 separate games. There's a reason why I have that summed up. We'll get to that. But then I fight a Ghost Blade, and you can see that Ghost Blade. You know, I said 5 sets. I ended up actually playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sets in about 30 minutes time. So in about half an hour, at least in this game, I can speak to Street Fighter being closer to about getting matches on Street Fighter were a little bit quicker. So in about an hour's time, I could play 5 or so full sets. This is best 2 out of 3. All of these are. Some of these games are faster, where I lose 2 rounds back to back. Some of these games go longer. And we'll talk about how each one of those looks and what they mean in the grand scheme of things. But I wanted to bring that up. Again, you don't got to spend a long time doing this, nor will we be spending a long time doing this, at least immediately, because obviously I want to focus on quality practice versus just raw quantity. So these were the first 2 games I've played of this game in a few months. Now, you can see there I do have 300 games, so someone will obviously be like, oh, you're not completely new to this game. I have ideas about how the game is played. I have, core concepts, getting hit with a throw immediately. But I have like a basic idea of my character and what I'm supposed to do, but game plans, memorization, what other characters do, a lot of those things are out the window. Jumping into a tournament in a week, I'm expecting players to be a lot more fresh and have really crystallized game plans, and so I have to work on it. So why I wanted to even highlight and show this as these first two matches, these both end up being 2-0s, where I just take both rounds and beat this dude. And I don't think that this person, this grappler, is bad. So I recognized early on with that grab that I got hit with that he was kind of looking for grabs. He was really relying on just getting big grabs and kind of making really lengthy plays. This is where some of my weaknesses also do show up. Of just remembering, like, oh yeah, he does have a counter. You can't just throw buttons. To always be looking for the grab, not just hold back and kind of turtle up. Even when your opponent's doing something, you can't just completely hide. Is something else that was immediately brought up by these matches. And in here, recognizing that I really do have the control of the match and be willing to jump in, like a little corner swap there. I actually was really lucky. I didn't realize I was going to corner swap at all. So like I said, first match back. Again, I'm happy that I got a match in where I was also willing to be a little bit more aggressive. And you'll immediately see in the second match, the fact that even with everything I'm saying, there are very clear weaknesses in my play. So one of these rounds, what I remember is that my ability to anti-air, I'd forgotten my anti-air buttons, generally speaking. And just my timing on anti-airing was completely off, and that's something that I'm going to have to practice. I'm not thinking about anti-airs and what my buttons are in that sense. This goes back to game planning. When I was really up on this game, I was far more, I think, comfortable recognizing just like, oh, if they jump, you can look for a 5B, I believe it is. You can look for a 2S for different options, and just recognizing those options. So I really want to show this sequence because it shows the other weakness that clearly is set up. Even with the drops and all the combos, like I was mentioning before, like here, that's something that a little bit of practice and just time of figuring out what that combo is supposed to look like. And later on, we do get a little bit better with that sequence, I feel like. I'm not looking for optimal right now. I'm looking for just comfort and feeling better and better. This is not a process you figure out in one day. So boom, jump. All of a sudden, I'm panicking now because my brain's going, I need to anti-air. I need to do something. You can't just let someone jump in on you because that's not the situation. So I drop this combo and immediately go here, pull him in. And I don't think past here. I charge in. Now, he could set up for a grab. This is not where I want to be against Grappler. Obviously, if I remember correctly, that was a misinput. I wanted to stay out. But backdash immediately, catch the block. He jumps. So he jumps over my sweep. I know that he can punish me with something here, so I play, I believe, pretty reserved. But what I don't account for was he hits the punish. He doesn't have a follow-up, so guess what? He jumps again. I'm jumping to try to challenge it. I get hit on another counter hit. Now I'm blocking. I'm ducking even though he is just continuously blocking another counter hit. And just look at the sheer amount of damage I'm taking from nothing more than him jumping. I try Vanguard's DP. This is a great example of the DP is not a great DP. It's being even an invincible reversal move. There's so many situations where you lose out with this move. I get hit. He's now next to me. We've gone corner to corner, and I just took a whole lot of health off my bar. It's a great example of just really quickly reminding me, as much as confidence as I'm allowed to have, to recognize that that's a skill that I have to work on. So chalk that onto the list of things to work on is anti-airs. Again, I wait there kind of seeing what he's going to do. I recognize that the grappler is hesitant, but in the grand scheme of things of being willing to be hesitant and just expecting him to do something stupid, I still can't get that anti-air correct. Not even thinking about, like, why are you using the big DP? Just use your 2S. It's a little bit safer. It's a similar-ish angle, and of the two, you're not going to get punished as easily on the DP unless the person knows exactly what they're doing. So I lose a round there. And this is a round that you can easily say, like, I shouldn't have been losing. But notice I immediately go back to now, and I'm like, all right, cool, keep him out. And this is where I'm checking those dashes. He's looking for grabs. He's looking for things to get in. And I'm back to just being consistently trying to – don't do something big. I'm keeping an eye. I told myself going into this game 2B. Boom. Right there, or 5B, excuse me, to catch him jumping. You saw him jump a bunch. You know 5B is a good arc button. Yes, it's slow, But grappler, if they're not ready to punish a slow button like that, you can deal with the button pretty easily. So if I pull that back really quickly and just run that one more time, right here at this very end part where we get in the same situation as last game, but because I was more prepared because I'd seen it, did the charge accidentally, jump back, see him, jump, and punish the landing here. Just recognizing that 5B is that button was something I was happy to see. And that's all I pretty much had to say about these games. It was just a very good game, I think, to get reacquainted and back into the game. Gave me a little bit more confidence that, hey, you have an idea still of how to play the game. But seriously was still able to show me, like, hey, there's still a lot to work on fundamentally, getting prepared for a tournament in a week. Now, these are the sets that are going to end up mattering. These are all the Ghostblade sets. They kind of go back and forth. I'm not going to play all of them. I'm, in fact, going to jump ahead because I think this is where we can see the best and worst games. The combos not being necessary. This dude has combos, which is great. And in anime games, bad DP there. Anime games, like combos will end up being a thing. I think people in anime games really do prioritize offense pretty heavily. And so you feel almost pushed to play more offense. You feel like you need to take their turn away from them. But especially with me playing a character like Vanguard, this reinforced the idea of, hey, Vanguard isn't, you don't have fast buttons. It's a ranged game. It's a lot more controlled, neutral, footsies, spacing your opponent out, picking your opportunities to strike, while also having a solid enough defense to recognize when it is and isn't your turn. So I say that, once again, we're going to jump ahead. And we're back. Let's go ahead and talk about this game specifically. So this is one of the games that I was really interested to talk about and to get into and to check out. One thing I want to highlight, notice we have a similar amount of matches. I don't know how recently or non-recently this person's played. At this point, set-wise, I believe it is 2-1 in his favor. He took 2 wins. I've taken 1. But I think this is where some of my best matches came up, and I wanted to talk about it. Just so that, obviously, if I'm watching this back, or maybe you can find something here, or you can correct me on some things, and maybe I'm reading the matchup correctly, incorrectly, you know. Again, I'm always looking for feedback, just as much of a reason why I'm posting these videos. So he was kind of overwhelming me, and I was noticing a pattern of what felt like me getting overwhelmed. So I think coming into this match, I decided to slow things down a decent bit. So I just checked here, checked, boom. I fixed it again. Those are executional errors that is going to take a little bit of study, which is going to be me just like remembering what am I going for off of certain buttons. Because I remembered the 5As and the 5B or different buttons like going into certain things, but I don't remember exactly what I'm supposed to be looking for. A little bit better, that same combo from before that I said I was messing up. I kind of remembered some of what we did. It's still not right. I know that, but it's something, right? I'm getting a hit and able to produce some amount of damage, which is better than nothing. But those mistakes and not understanding and having a straight game plan can very seriously cost me. But I said that I liked this game. I felt like this was one of my stronger games. So I think after this sequence is kind of a set of sequences that I was pretty happy with because I felt like even being cautious, I was game planning a lot better. Where I was just like, all right, I'm going to do this. I noticed that he was low on resources and made a punish there. Just keeping my eyes, checking his resources. I got better over the course of the set of just always watching. Always watching, keeping an eye out, boom, boom. I still get hit. He's always trying to set up the situation. I realized that early, but finding ways out of it is a lot harder than just realizing the situation. And going in a tournament, that's something that I do have to work on, is going to be playing sets and adapting quicker. I'm great in longer sets. The more I see something, the more I'm able to formulate and work on the game plan I already have and adapt it to something else. A good punish there. I've been trying to punish this the whole entire time. I felt like that wasn't safe, and even later on, funnily enough, the I don't have anything to lose moment ends up leading very much into a situation that I just did something, and I need to go back and keep watching it to figure out exactly what I did, but I managed to punish it in a way that would have been far more consistent or better and figure out where the gaps are at. Again, I'm not overwhelmingly winning, but I'm holding my own, which is important. There I recognize my guard meter was low and I tried to do something, not looking for where I could do it, just that being pressured into a situation and making a mistake. Good on my opponent. So I'm trying to do better about keeping this range exactly where I want it. Be recognizing where his ghost could come out. A good DP, still dangerous, but a good DP. I wanted to dash through there. That was a bad habit I had when I was playing the game when it first came out. Initially, I'm just misjudging my dash spacing. Get caught in the same loop again. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. And I like that I got this punish here, and I started to just be like, all right, cool. What I found is when I come back to games, and I'll let this round play out. When I come back to games, I am much better at the neutral element of the game for one major reason. That is, I am not thinking and game planning so much that I'm autopiloting. I'm kind of figuring things out as I go. So this is definitely the best game I have. I feel like this game right here was I came in and both game planned and figured stuff out decently well. I hadn't been using my S sequence, which I believe is one of his best openers. Is using one of his S buttons. I can't remember exactly which one, but this is again knowledge being there and needing to refresh to be able to apply it. Calm defense. I'm not rushing to get out. He has meter. His meter goes down. He can't break me easily. He's a lot of offense. Most of my mistakes are coming from him just punishing me, doing something stupid there, standing up and swinging. That didn't even connect. I was able to block again. Bad input there, but again, that's something that we can work on. I have him in the corner. I'm not dashing either way. I could have maybe punished that. Maybe. I was happy that I didn't just randomly swing. I kind of gave him room to do something. Again, bar's getting low here. I feel like I have to do something. I have to make a choice. Something has to happen because I'm just going to get armor broken and lose anyway. A nice catch on that. I remember wanting to close the space. I remember wanting to feel like I don't want to be in the corner. So instead of my normal sequence, I need to be willing to go. And in this, I'd been looking like I could go through that the entire game. And part of my happiness with this game was realizing picking the right moment to roll through and punish successfully. He obviously made some mistakes. Again, a drop, a little bit of practice and time. I feel like those are the two parts of execution, is knowing what you need to do and then building the muscle memory. We get hit, but I'm not panicking here. I feel like even when I was listening back to this game, I have it turned off here, but I could hear myself pressing buttons, and I tried to do the same thing as before. But very clearly, I could tell when I was panicked, where I was just like, I need to get out. I need to do something. And my mental is definitely something I'm going to have to work on for this week or next. This range that I'm managing to keep him at is so much better for me. I'm not ever getting too close until I'm ready to deal a bunch of damage and set up another situation that's really beneficial for me, which is why I thought that was one of my better games, if not the best game I played overall. Now for the worst game, and funnily enough, it is the very last set, which starts right at this 24-ish minute mark. I believe, right? 24-12. You can see the end of a set here where I lose. Again, he was doing a good job of adapting, and I think that I got a little bit cocky because I'd won three in a row, and I thought that I had the situation handled and wasn't prepared and watching for his adaptation. And this last game, I think, felt hopeless. I felt pretty hopeless across this last game where, like, I recognized he adapted, and I was like, you need to adapt. And I couldn't figure out, and that was, again, me putting pressure and kind of putting myself in a position where one of my weaknesses I know is my mental. When things kind of go off the rail, it can either be really good or really bad for me. I'm trying to maintain and be better here where I just kind of was like, okay, cool. Just be patient. He'll run out of meter. He's throwing out a lot of stuff. I'm doing different things. Like I remember jump B, I think if I do it correctly, could be a safe jump. Again, just ideas that are in my head that pop up that I don't fully remember, but I'm trying them because I don't have everything locked down. So you're saying, but you said that you got run over. And I think this is where you can start to see it. Now I'm trying to play this spacing game. I'm focusing so hard on like, where am I? Where is he? Am I in range? Am I not? moving in and out, trying to catch him. I've been delaying buttons more and more and catching him, and so like you see me randomly doing different specials. A bad drop there where if I just put him back full screen, we're back in the same situation and force him to come up with the answer. My mental makes me feel like I need to do something different. I need to go for bigger damage, even if it's risking me losing or dropping the combo. I realize he doesn't have anything here and try to punish, and it leads to me just getting put in the corner and in a horrible situation. And now I'm scared. A nice run up throw. I challenge, which I was happy about, but still, it wasn't perfect. It definitely is me just being like, fuck it, I'm going to lose anyway. I need to do something. And you can see, I'm pretty sure I might have been able to punish or do something, or at least keep my turn, which we did here. And this sequence right here is, again, that partial knowledge that I have to refresh. So I don't remember the whole sequence, but I remember that when I'm below 30% and have my passive, charge into something. I think I actually need the conversion here to... I need to have conversion here to be able to fully do the chain to do another charge to open him back up and get a guard break and pull back and do my whole S starter into big damage, which probably honestly would have won me the game. If I get at least one knockdown into a basic loop and just complete it, I think this is more than enough damage. I try it, mess up, eat a button for it, and by this point, he's just able to close it out really solidly, nothing complicated. He just did what he had to do, got me in a position, and then supered. Again, big reason why I was saying one of the worst games. And wow, this wasn't even the worst game. There's a whole nother round after this. No, it was. Okay, it was. You can see I've watched this once, but I could always keep looking. I remembered that I needed to delay that again. The combo, timed it wrong. Execution, practice. We've already said that. Patience is there. He's exhausted, and I'm still not challenging him. Ghostblade doesn't have defensive tools. It's something I remembered when fighting him. Like, if I got offense, that's why I was able to keep such strong control. Like, he's going to have to take a risk to do something, and if I'm just careful and bide my time, this is a great example of just not letting yourself be overwhelmed and overpressured. And it's good to know because I think this character is visually interesting and cool, and so people, I think, will play the character. I'm hoping that and just trying different things. Like one of these strings, one of these delays is going to catch him. Don't be afraid. Just keep making choices. He does a nice job. He's been doing a dash up convert because I believe the dash is unsafe. And he catches me on a back dash because, again, I was scared. If I just block there, I have to hold a sequence. But he hasn't been opening me up for the most part. And that is the last set. So what are the big takeaways I'm going to take from these games, and ultimately what is the follow-up? And this is the next piece of that entire puzzle I was talking about. So you get on, and if you previously had played, you have things that you want to work on or ideas to remind yourself of. This is a quick refresher. It's not meant to be 2-3 hours. It's 5, maybe 10 minutes of just, oh yeah, what was this thing? Or was the combo I was working on? Was a concept? Was it an idea? Like in my case, when I get on next time, tomorrow, I'm going to be looking and thinking about anti-airs. I'm going to be trying to be like, oh, what are your anti-air buttons? What are the pros and cons of each one in terms of like what situation should I be looking to use either in, and to go from there. Then you play your matches. After you've done it and gone through, and like I said, you pick what you feel like was your best round and what you feel like was your worst round. And don't get it twisted. This does not have to be a win or a loss. Like, your best round doesn't have to be your win. Your worst round doesn't have to be a loss. Think about how you felt when you were playing. That's what I generally try to do. And there are rounds where I felt like I wasn't doing anything wrong. And I can identify like, oh, that was really consistent pressure. That was really good choices. You weren't getting baited in. And in my case, I just kept doing what worked. Or on the flip side, what didn't work. Why were you getting antsy? What had happened? What affected my mental or affected me in such a way that I felt like that game was pretty hopeless, or I didn't have any control. I didn't know what to do. I felt overwhelmed. And once you have that, you have what you can work on. You have what you can choose to do. You can practice it immediately. You can practice it a little bit later. So what do I want to pull from these sets? We've already highlighted the things I want to work on most of all, because I think right now the things that I could possibly say is I think I did well for not playing a game for 2 months and just coming back in and getting online in ranked and just playing. I did okay. I didn't go into training mode. The most I did was I was playing survival in between matches. Didn't look up anything, nothing like that. So then, what are the downsides? Anti-airs have to be dealt with. I need to learn my punishers, my anti-airs, and at the very least, like, what those buttons are. I need to have them crystallized in my memory so that my mental stack while playing isn't overloaded. I'm not thinking about too many things. 2 is a little bit more abstract and out of game. It's the mental. It's to just always recenter myself, regardless of the situation. Don't get caught up in the pace of my opponent or myself to do something. I'm going to do a quick anime reference here. But in Haikyuu Season 4, it's a concept that's brought up with, I think the moment's just called Taking It Easy. It's later in Season 4, and it brings up this idea of, like, the fever pitch and the pace of trying to do something, and you can sometimes strangle yourself out. And just being sometimes recognized, like, even if it's just a moment, if it's something really simple, a dropped combo, something that resets you to neutral, whatever, to just be aware of that moment and to just take it easy and, like, relax. Like, it'll be okay. And the third thing kind of coincides with everything is more fundamental work. I don't see anything so egregious right now that I have to fix. You don't need optimal combos. You don't need perfected game plans. What you need to do when starting, I tell people this, and so I'm trying to show this, is play the game, assess what you felt went right, what went wrong. If you feel like you need to, look up resources. Don't get bogged down in trying to understand everything, and go from there. So my fundamentals. How far do my moves reach? It's like what my moves are, just in general. Anti-airing. A basic game plan of if he were to dash at me horizontally, what should I do? Because I had those ideas pop up. Oh, I need to AA to catch roll. I need to 5B to catch jump. I need to do this, and that will set up this kind of line and wall that, in this case, Ghostblade was trying to get around. And every matchup is different, but I felt like Ghostblade's pressure really helped me realize. And it was a good way to get back into it. Same with Grappler, which I usually had a bad time of matching up. If in any of the matches you saw something more specific that you might want to highlight, feel free to comment it down below, and I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye and looking through the comments. And like I said, this is all for a tournament this weekend. I'm doing a tournament within a week of coming back to a game, all for the purposes of getting as good as possible. Because I still don't know exactly what game I want to play in the future in Maine. So we'll keep trying different games, and I just happen to have the opportunity to get into a tournament this week for this, so we're doing it. Tell me what you thought of the video. If you enjoyed this, feel free to come back and come through. We do a good amount of daily videos here. I've been trying to, through the month of September, always drop a video every single day. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next one.